Alright, since I ranked the mentor rival of the 2011 show along with V, that being Kai, it's time to rank the mentor rival when it comes to the G series, or technically V as well, that being Ibuki Kouji. Originally introduced as a manga character in a similar role to Reverse Kai, to basically introduced in animated form with the Neon Messiah movie as a finale to basically the original show of 2011. And then a redemption arc with the G series as the main rival / mentor figure. Playing two different types of Link Joker deck, one being Deletor and the other one being the Messiah. So once again, I'm going to be ranking these based on their anime appearances, based on their base form first, evolve form seconds of course, but also when it comes to the Messiah forms, I'm going to be basing it off on variations, as Messiah has so many different forms that it's a whole entire archetype that I'd rather just go through the boss units and basically the main forms. Like Neon Messiah, that will be its own main form, which will also include Harmonics Messiah, as that's the baby form going to the big goddess form, and then Alter Ego Messiah, which will be a separate form, will be the basically avatar form when it comes to Ibuki's grade 3, which will also include Amnesty and Exilix as its evolved forms, and then separate boss units include Judgment Messiah, which was the Stride Gate season boss unit when it comes to the Messiah form, and then we got Transels as an alternate, along with Basaltus and Integral for being the final Messiah used in the anime, basically, at least when it comes to the strides. But anyway, with all that out of the way, let's just begin with my personal rankings based on my own personal favorite designs on my own personal opinion, so you can always have yours. So let's begin. So on the bottom of my list, which is number 8, it's gonna be Flagellant Messiah. Not saying I don't like the design, but Flagellant is the most least interesting design in my opinion when it comes to the Messiah forms, and in my opinion, less interesting than the Deletor design, but still pretty awesome. With 2 gauntlet arms along with a staff, and just like every other Messiah design, the 2 planet orbs, just in my opinion not cooler than the other Messiah forms or even some of the Deletor forms, hence why it's just in the bottom of my list, but I still love the design. And then to my number 7, Basaltus Messiah, a more serpent-like Messiah form, which actually looks completely different to most Messiahs, and I kinda like it for that. Mainly on the body design, although it doesn't have any arms, the body design completely changed, and I actually love the shoulder armor with the orb planets, especially the tail design and especially the halo crest design on its back, especially the pink hair on the Messiah head, which is actually what made me like it more than Judgment Messiah, since this one actually looks like a powerful goddess design. And then to my number 6, it's Transel's Messiah, a more bug-like Messiah design, and it definitely looks like a fusion between Deletor and Messiah, which I actually love it for that reason as well. And for some reason, this is the one that got chosen to go alongside Chronos Command rather than any other Messiah, since this card was only used once, but I really love its spider-like design, which is actually what made this to my number 6, and I think it's just cooler than Judgment Messiah overall, and even Basaltus, because it is a little bit mixture of a serpent as well. And I also love the part where it has arms holding the planet orbs instead of having it as shoulder armor. I think that's a little cool difference right there. And into my number 5, it's Integral Messiah, a very skinny Messiah design, but I really like it since Messiah is supposed to be very skinny, with once again the shoulder planet orbs that is also combined with the wings, and I really love the wing crest design in the back as well, especially the armor and color aesthetic. I think it just looks a little more unique than the other Messiahs as well, especially the blade-like wings, because I think the blade-like wings is actually very unique to this Messiah compared to the rest of them. And now to my number 4, it's Dolking Deletor Greion. Design-wise is just awesome. I love the bug-like aesthetic. Originally probably supposed to be a mega colony, but then they made it into Link Joker. And Greion does so much throughout the entire V series that I actually love it, especially that little face design. Especially those laser tentacle whiskers in the back, I love it as well. But then when he evolves into Gradle, in my opinion, it's not as creepy as Greion, in fact more armor machine-like, with actual legs and more lasers, and also a head laser gun as well. While the design completely changed, in my opinion, it doesn't look as cool as Greion in my opinion, but does see the upgrade since it does have its legs and technically more lasers. And now to my number 3, Daunting Deletor Oxus. I really love this original Deletor boss unit that was originally introduced in animated form, and it was only shown in the Neon Messiah movie as the main villain, and I really love its design and its creepiness. Even cooler than Greion in my opinion, and even cooler than Gradle as well, which is why it's higher than Greion and Gradle. I really love the evil bug-like aesthetic, especially on the face, and I definitely love the armor design on him. The creepiness of the unit makes it one of my favorite units of all times, hence why this is here on my number 3, although I prefer some of the Messiah forms over this one. In which I also hope that there was also evolved form of this, which we technically kind of did, but we also didn't, because it is a stride with a different name. And now to my number 2, it's going to be the Alter Ego Messiah, the avatar of Ibuki and the main grade 3 of Ibuki when it comes to G, and technically V, playing of course as an alter ego as a mini form of Messiah. And I really love its design with its armor aesthetic and the bladed looking wings, especially when it evolves into Alter Ego Neo Messiah, which does have a bit of an armor change, although not that much, but I actually prefer the Neo Messiah design over the original one. And then we go to Ideal Ego Messiah, which is actually, in my opinion, the least of the favorites when it comes to these 3, but it does hold a staff, but it's still pretty cool. And then when we go to the stride form of Amnesty Messiah already looks pretty awesome, especially when it turns into a big giant Messiah goddess that would actually be able to destroy a whole entire planet, even if it's a manifestation. And then we go even further by evolving it into the Exilix Messiah, which in my opinion just looks amazing. One of my most favorite Messiah G form designs out of all times. Especially I love the halo around it, and also the planet orbs on its legs as well, with the sharp pointed blade hair, which also just makes this really awesome. So yeah, while Alter Ego itself isn't as cool as the stride forms really make up for it, so it's just higher than most of other Ibuki's boss units. And then finally to my number 1, it's gonna be the Neon Messiah, which goes along with the Harmonics Messiah. Neon Messiah basically being the hatchling form, being in an egg, which also has the Aryan form, which is more awakened without the egg, a little more spider-like as well, but it looks very cute enough that it's a cool little starter. But when we awaken it to its true form, being the Harmonics Messiah just looks majestically powerful, being the original form, and it is the Goddess of Cray, which is also very awesome. I also love the planets on its shoulders, especially the staff, and the wing design is also pretty cool. Another reason being on my number 1 is definitely also because of it being the original stride unit, the very first one. In which when we evolve into the Harmonics Neo Messiah, which is funny enough one of its final forms when it comes to Messiah, pretty awesome as well. Neo Messiah just definitely has a bit of an upgraded armor design, and just like similar to the original, it does have the crescent moon aesthetic on it, but this time just a little more armor, and I really love the crest theme armor around it, especially when it comes to the wings. It just looks really awesome, hence why this has to be my number 1 as it's a full-on goddess. And so that's it for this ranking on my personal favorite Ibuki boss monster designs. What do you guys think of it? How would you rank them? And what others would you add on the list? Because who knows, I might be missing some, or you just consider it as an alternate boss unit. But I included the ones practically I see most often, or put the ones that only been used once that actually cause a little bit of a major impact. And I have to say, overall, Ibuki's boss units are pretty awesome due to the fact that I really love Messiah and even Deletors, so it was a little tough for me to make, especially when it comes to the Messiah part, where I actually love Messiahs more than Deletors, although some forms of Deletors are cooler than the Messiah forms, hence why it's ranked the way it is for me. And also tell me which deck you prefer Ibuki to use, Messiah or Deletors. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.